Whoa! Good morning. Good morning. Say good morning to Bailey.
And yesterday I got new toys.
Wow. I promised Bailey that I would play with her this morning with her new toys because she likes to pretend. And so this isn't going to be a very long video. I got to try to make it quick. But I absolutely need my coffee. And while I drink my coffee, I'm going to work. And then after I'm done with my coffee, I am going to play pretend with her. Good morning. Hey, Amber, girlfriend. Morning, Crystal. Hey, hey, hey. Hey, hey, hey. Good morning, Kendra. Good morning, Allie. How are you? Happy Sunday. What's your plans for Sunday?
And after Sunday, it's Monday.
That is correct. You are so right, Bailey. Morning! Hey, girl, hey! I'm probably going to be mailing out some samples of my Skinny Coffee this week. So if you want the coffee that's helped me lose over 60 pounds, you need to put hashtag samples below and I will hook you up with some. Good morning, Chloe. Guys, I've been like in my little shell this morning. Like, I've been doing all the things that I need to do, but I've been so like inside. Like, I haven't really reached out to my team or anybody else at this point this morning because I've just been doing all the things. I've been so incredibly focused on what is going on. And of course, you guys know, while I do the things in the morning, I like to listen to something that gets my mind thinking. And this was something that like hit me like crazy this morning. I was like, oh my gosh, this is me. Like, I've done this before. This has been me before. This is why I've had the ups and downs is because of one thing. Good morning, Christina. Woo. Christina's a leader on our team and she's doing amazing. She's going to a conference with me this month and we're so excited because there's big things that are happening. So this morning I listened to something and it just hit home to me. And I feel like it's gonna hit home to you too. And some of you guys are gonna be stuck so deep in it, or maybe you know someone who is stuck so deep in it that you don't even realize. Where's my other phone? You know where it is, Bailey?
What is it?
Huh?
What is it?
I don't know. Do you know where my other phone is? No. Anyways, so yeah, so excited for conference. So we leave at the end of this month. I'm terrified because I hate flying. I have the biggest fear of flying, but I know for a fact I just need to breathe and I just need to think to myself, like, this is going to change our life. This is going to change our life. Being in front of, tons of people who are so successful in the industry is huge, and getting surrounded by people who are kind of like-minded, who are going in the same direction can further you. So I'm like, I keep telling myself, like, I can do it. I'm going to be scared as I'm buckling in, like, as they're going through instructions. I'm going to be like, crap my pants, but we're going to make it happen and it's going to be so worth it, guys. Man, that electric tea kettle, or I think it's electric tea kettle, it gets your water so freaking hot, and I don't even realize how hot it gets until I take that first sip, and I'm like, holy crap. How many of you guys feel like that? How many of you have burnt your tongue on something the first time you take a bite of it because you're anxious and you just want to try it? Drop a 1 below if that is you, because that's me pretty much every single day. I burn my mouth constantly. And we don't think of these things because we're so anxious to do it. So anyways, and I want to go through these super quick, okay? There's 14 signs of this. And it's crazy because a lot of us in the industry, we know that this comes about. Like, we know it. And if you're moving forward in the industry, you know, like, you are open to like moving forward when you recognize this. When you recognize it, you're like, okay. And it is literally the 14 signs of ego. And a lot of people don't even like realize. When I was listening to this morning, I was like, man, I don't even realize, like, I didn't even realize that was a sign of ego until it was explained. And I was like, wow, yeah, that's exactly what it is. And so in the thing that I listened to, it was talking about it, and it was just going through them. And it, you know, I'm just going to go through them really quick to share with you guys, because there are certain ways that like you're going to see this in yourself, but you're going to see it in other people too. And there's different ways to kind of like, I wouldn't say prevent it, but be aware of it, because you can't prevent it from coming on. It just comes on. Like, I've had it happen in my life before. I've had it happen a lot before I joined my business. I had it happen, you know, even after I joined my business, I have had it happen several times, and it always relates to a setback. So every single time that ego creeps in, there's always a setback that's coming within the next 60 to 120 days. Ego is going to pull you down no matter what. And so knowing these things and being aware of when it is going to creep up, or, you know, what are signs of other people having a big ego so it doesn't make you feel inside your head, is so important, okay? So I'm gonna go with number 1, okay? Someone who defends themselves consistently, like constantly defending themselves. You give them some type of, you know, constructive criticism, and they defend themselves. Good morning, Lindsay. So good to see you on here, girl. So they constantly defend themselves, and they're consistently, like, anytime you give them constructive criticism, they are like saying, no, that's not me. No, that's not me. And they're not open to that, you know, that constructive criticism. And the next one I would say is, oh, maybe it's 15. Sorry. Yeah, it's 15. I don't know why I put that, but I missed one right up top. Okay, so my bad. So the second one is someone who is always right. Someone, how many of you guys have someone in your life? Drop a 2 below if you have someone in your life who always needs to be right. Drop a 2 below if that's you. Maybe you always do need to be right. And, you know, maybe you make it a joke. I mean, I know I used to, how I always, a lot of wives, they will say, you know, that I'm always right, and I'm like the one who's always, that's a sign of ego, okay? That is a big sign of ego, and that can tear you down. That can pull your life apart. So someone who can't be wrong and is always right. The third thing that I had was, I'm going to relabel these just because I'm reading off of a page, because I literally took notes. Like, this is nuts. And I'm going to hang this up around my house because it's crazy. So, number 3 is the need to always win. And meaning like someone who is consistently trying to one-up you. Someone who's consistently trying to, like, be better than you, or be better than someone else in their life. Do you do that? Does someone in your life do that? Drop a 3 below if you know someone who always has a need to win. It's that like desire of competitiveness, but that competitiveness leads to like needing to win consistently. This is a sign of insecurity. It's ego. That's what happens. Number 4 I had was pride and boasting, bragging all the time. Someone who is constantly saying, hey, did you see my new TV? Hey, why don't you come to my house? Come see my brand new house. Or, you know, saying like, yeah, talking about their new clothes that they just got, or talking about materialistic things or things that they have done and bragging about it and talking about it in a bragging sense. That's a sign of ego and insecurity. My phone's at 20%. No! So if you know someone in your life who, has done that, drop a 4 below, because that I've seen it happen over and over and over again. I've always been kind of hidden in myself. So like the bragging comes out every once in a great while. And it used to a lot when I was younger, especially with my girlfriends. We would start talking about things and we would say things that was like kind of talking about it, and it wasn't like in our heads, we didn't see it as bragging, but it is bragging. And so that's a sign of ego and insecurity. The next one, number 5, was revenge against people. If you know someone who is constantly needing to get revenge on someone else or something else, or just being better in general, that's a sign of ego and insecurity. The next one, maybe I messed all this up, guys. Okay, so the next one, number 6, is possessiveness. And a lot of this is like one that's like hidden, okay? A lot of us will judge what things are like, how things are going behind closed doors, right? I don't know why I just messed that up, but how things are going behind closed doors. So if you're in a possessive relationship, or if you know someone who is in that relationship where they're constantly, telling their other half what to do, or they're giving them orders on what to do, they're not asking them to do things, they're telling them to do things, that's a good sign of ego and insecurity. And, as a rule, we don't own people. So this is one that's really tricky. And if you see it, you should definitely speak out on it. You should definitely speak out on it, because what happens is it can not only lead to problems within the relationship, within that person who is being possessed, but it can also damage the person who is the possessor as well, and it can ruin their life. And so always speaking out on that, and that can lead to a lot of things. We all know, it can lead to abuse or verbal abuse or things like that, just because of that possessiveness. But just know that someone who is being a possessor is someone with a huge ego and insecurity. And so it's almost like a disease that they want to just have control over someone else. But the thing is that we don't have control over people. We don't own people, and we can't own people. So if you're one of those people, or you see one of those people, just know that. And if you are one of those people, know that that is what's going on. So find the insecurity, and you will find and be able to figure out the solution for that. So number 7 I had was talking poorly or gossiping gossiping about people constantly. Okay, do you know a friend that every single time you get around them, they talk crap about people? They talk crap about other people. If you have friends like this, you need to remove yourself from those friends, because what's going to happen is you are the sum of those 5 people that you hang out with the most. And when you see the people who are gossiping, you're going to start doing it too eventually. And so really start to think about, think to yourself, are you that person who feeds into it and listens to it and coddles that person when they're talking about other people, and accepts that? Are you that person? Be honest with yourself. Do you see this in your life? Because this is a sign of weakness. When someone is talking poorly about someone else, and I'm not going to lie, this has happened in my life. We've had setbacks in our business, and we've had, setbacks in our life in general throughout my entire life. And usually when there is a setback, one of these things are the reason why there was a setback, because there was a ego that was just out of control, and the insecurity was there, and so the ego was there. So talking poorly and gossiping about others. The number 8, really, technically, I messed all these up. Obsessively looking at themselves. How many of you guys know someone, and I know almost every single person has one of these people in their life that is consistently looking at themselves in the mirror, I know several people in my life who do this a lot. I used to be one of these people when I was a teenager, because I was extremely insecure. I was extremely out of control. My ego was just through the roof. I thought I was the cat's meow, right? And the true reality of it is, inside, I was so insecure that I hated myself. And it was because of all these things going on. But where ego shows up with people looking at themselves consistently and constantly just trying to, see themselves in better lighting. Maybe you see someone who always posts pictures of themselves with a filter on it, or someone who consistently posts pictures of themselves, you know, with the edits on it and stuff like that, making themselves look perfect, okay? That is a sign of insecurity and an out of control ego. That's just how it is. I used to be one of those people who always had to have a filter, and now look, I'm coming on here looking like crap, but I'm here to show you guys that it's okay to be you. You don't have to be somebody else. You don't have to, you know, slap a filter on your photos. It's okay sometimes to be you. So the 9th thing was bullying. Obviously, that's like a red flag. We all know that. I mean, if you don't know that, usually the sign of someone bullying, especially in the schools, is that something's not going right in their life that's making them insecure, and they're choosing to take it out on that person. A lot of the times when you see someone being picked on at school or in a school, it's because at home, their home life is not what it should be. Their home life is not what they want it to be, and they might be bullied at home. They might not have the greatest, you know, parents or the greatest brother or sister or whatever. Something's going on at home. We all know that. Like, bullying is like #1 sign of ego and insecurity. So number 10, then I'm going to relabel this afterwards. Number 10, the addiction. These are ones that are like a lot of people do them every single day, but we don't realize that they are a sign of ego. And like so many people do them every single day. I have done every single thing on this at least once in my life, okay? And so just being honest with yourself and saying, you know, have I seen this in myself? Have I seen this in other people that I'm surrounded by? Because if you have someone in your life who consistently has a huge ego, those people need to be eliminated from your life. And I'm not saying you don't have to love them. I'm saying you can love them from a distance, because otherwise ego is going to creep up in and it's going to come into you too. And so the addiction of what other people think about them. Drop a 7 below if this is you or this has been you in the past. I'm dropping a big 7 because my entire life I cared about what other people thought about me. I didn't join my business for an entire year because I was afraid what other people were going to think about me. I was so afraid that people were going to think I was scamming people. I was so afraid that people were going to think, that's not going to work. Why are you doing that? You know what I mean? I was so terrified of what other people thought about me. And here's a quote that stood out to me, okay? It says, you can't love yourself if you're not being yourself. You can't be yourself if you don't believe in yourself, okay? So let me repeat that. You can't love yourself if you're not being yourself, and you can't be yourself if you don't believe in yourself. So you have to have that belief to love yourself. There's no way that you are going to love yourself in your whole life until you start believing yourself and stop looking around for other people's approval of you. And a lot of us do this, especially on Facebook. We post things, we ask opinions, we talk about other people on Facebook, or we'll post about other things. And the thing is, we're just looking for approval, especially, you know, those girls who they're taking pictures of themselves. And a lot of the times you see like every single post on their Facebook is a picture of themselves. It's a picture of themselves over and over and over again. They're making funny faces, they're making cute faces, they're slapping a filter on it nonstop, okay? A lot of the times when you see that, that is someone who's looking for approval from other people. How many of you guys have done that before? That was me. And I've done this. I did this before I started my business, and I stopped using Facebook for the approval of others. And I started using it to make money instead, and to change my life and to change who I am. And I was that person who was consistently putting up pictures looking for the approval. And you know what? How many of you guys, like, okay, drop a 9 below if this is you, because this was me. When you wake up in the morning and you go to look at your phone, how many of you guys look at your notifications on your phone? And if you don't have a crap ton of notifications, you almost feel bad about yourself. This was me, and that's exactly what this is living your life addicted to the approval of others. If you don't have that notification sign going up on your phone or on your Facebook Messenger or on your Facebook post, or when you click into Facebook and you don't see that little number is high, you think to yourself, you know, I've done that before, and that was literally my life before I started working this business. And that's just living, that's a good sign of living your life for the approval of others. So I'm not saying eliminate that. I'm not saying like prevent it, but I'm saying know when your ego is out of control. Know when you're feeling insecure, so you know how to fix it. So you know how to change yourself. So number 11 is not wanting to be alone. How many of you guys, like, drop a 10 below if you know someone who has switched from friendship to friendship to friendship to friendship, or relationship to relationship to relationship to relationship to relationship. Drop a 10 below if you know someone who has done this, like every, couple of months to 6 months to a year, they get someone new in their life. If you know someone like this, drop a 10 below. Because chances are, this is a sign of ego and insecurity. It is the fact of not wanting to be alone, and because they hate their own company. They hate their own company. And instead of like fixing themselves and working on themselves, instead of doing that, they're going from relationship to relationship to try to feel good about themselves, to try to feel like they like themselves. And you can see this a lot. And I know people in our lives that do this, that you see them, just never wanting to be alone, always looking on Facebook, hey, who wants to hang out this weekend? Or, hey, who wants to do this, or who wants to come with me to the store, or who wants to come with me, who wants to take a trip to Portland, or who wants to take a trip, you know what I mean? You're always seeing something like that. Someone that does not want to be alone is someone who does not like their own company, and it's a sign of ego and insecurity. And so I'm not saying work to prevent this. I'm saying know what the signs of your ego being 100% out of control, so that you can work on fixing it. Okay. So the next thing I had that was number 11. This is number 12. I'm reading off of this, okay, because I took notes, because I was like, holy crap, this is huge. So number 12, I have, you only hang around people who believe exactly what you believe. And rich life is someone who is willing to surround themselves with people who have different opinions and express them. Because if you're hanging around with people who consistently have the same views as you, and I know a lot of you guys do, because I know that I've done it for a very long time, and it was always hard for me to take constructive criticism. So I was constantly, whenever someone had said something to me like, Chelsea, you could tweak this in this area, I would run away from them. I don't want to be around you. Like, that was my life. And so being around those people who challenge you triggers growth. Being around those people who have different opinions and express them triggers, growth. And if you don't hang around people who challenge you to grow, then there's no one to challenge you to be different, to be better than the person that you were yesterday, to think differently. And that's a sign of ego and insecurity, not wanting to change, not wanting to be around people who enforce that change or inspire that change. What, baby?
Can you get my pen over there?
Bowman's going out of control in there, if you guys can't hear. He is
Daddy's
like...
still asleep with his glasses on.
He's not asleep with his glasses on, Bailey. Bailey goes, Daddy's still asleep with his glasses on. He's not asleep. That's the thing. Okay, so number 13, you get offended by constructive criticism, okay? When someone gives you tips and pointers, do you knock them down or do you try them? Because that is a sign of ego and insecurity, that you're not willing to try what someone else has done and succeeded with. When you are knocking every single, opportunity, because you're the people who hop on my videos and they listen to my videos and they instantly get off, because it makes them feel uncomfortable, that's a huge sign of ego and insecurity, because they're not willing to listen to criticism. They're not willing to listen to how they can change themselves. That's a huge sign of that. Number 12, you're stuck in the past, okay? This was me, like red flag. How many of you guys, drop an 11 below if this was you or is you at this moment, living in the past, living when, like, oh my gosh, you should have seen me back then, or, talking with your friends about past times and what has happened. And this living in the past, it creates a lot of problems, because you're living in the past or you're talking about the past. And the thing is, you're never going to move forward because you're focusing so much on what happened. And like 90% of us do this. We live in the past. And I'm not even going to lie to you. I just recently did this, talking about when, things happened at the beginning of the year and our business was like, we were having a party, we were excited, and then all of a sudden it like kind of went do, and we had to make the decision. Okay, we had to make several decisions to change our life. We had to make several business related decisions that kind of like shifted us. And this was something that I lived in for so long. I lived in the past over and over again, just thinking about, if my business was the way that it was before, if it was. And I'm not even gonna lie to you guys. I've had issues with this pretty much my entire life, living in the past, living back when, things were maybe crap, and I've lived there, and I talk about it constantly, and I've thought about it constantly, and things like this. When you start realizing that you're living in the past, you can adjust yourself. You can learn what is the real insecurity here. What is going to move me forward, not pull me back? What do I have to stop thinking about? What are my trigger signs, and things like that. And, one of the things that I started doing, as you guys can see, is literally my dream board, because I've lived in the past for so long that I needed to start thinking about moving forward. And it has things like our dream wedding. It has, we want a boat launch property. I want to be on the top 100 income earners in my company. We want to build a deck off our pool. We want a $10,000 paycheck, like different things like this. Okay. And everything on my dream board always comes true because I work my butt off for it and I focus on it every single day. If you're focusing in the past and you're thinking about, well, life used to be like this and life used to be like that, if I could just get back there, I'm telling you, it's never going to happen, because you have to start creating new goals. You have to start shifting. You have to start moving forward. What, baby? No, I'm on video, baby.
I see B-O.
Yep, B-O, like bow. So living in the past is huge. And then 13, I'm gonna do 15, sorry. 15, insecurity and self-doubt. That's like a red flag. We all know that. When you have self-doubt and insecurity in yourself, that's an ego out of control. So number 16, and we see this in our lives all over the place. I can't even tell you how many times I see this in my business daily, especially when I bring new people onto the team. I see this daily because this happens, okay? And this is just, you want to make sure that you have this in your head, as this is an ego out of control. This is just insecurity. Someone who consistently apologizes and then does it again. Drop a 12 below if you know someone who has done this in your life in the past, because I know we've all had it happen to us. If you have someone who consistently apologizes and does it again, and it's like, this person's apologizing over and over again, but they're doing the same thing. So it makes you not want to, be friends with them or be around them. It gives you poor feelings towards them. And so, it's not a sincere apology. And the only way to fix it is to start being honest. Not only honest with yourself, only honest, like with your, really just honest with yourself. Be honest with yourself that you apologize and you do the same thing every single day over and over and over again. Because once you understand and you can be honest with yourself that you're doing one of these 16 things, you can start to change it. You can stop doing the things that got you there in the first place, okay? You can start readjusting yourself when you see ego creeping in, because normally when ego creeps into my life, I know when it creeps into my life, usually within 60 to 120 days, my life spirals out of control. So knowing when you are doing one of these 16 things is so important, because what's going to happen is you're going to look up one day and say, how did my life get here? Like, how did my life get here? How did this happen? Chances are your ego spiraled out of control 60 to 90 days ago, okay? And you started doing things and you started, you know, doing these things, or you started like doing them in slight ways that you didn't even realize, and all of a sudden it led you to spiral down. It led your life to crash and burn, and it was the ego and the insecurity that had made you that way in the first place. So I want to hop on here and tell you guys, the ego is a dangerous thing, and it is a dangerous thing to play with and ignore. So make sure that you're, you know, finding these signs that are going on maybe around you, maybe in yourself, and then learn how to either stay away from it or learn how to change it in you. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and play pretend with Bailey, and I love you guys. I hope you have an amazing Sunday.